How old are
Yes,
you?
ma'am. I'm 29.
29. Okay, and
Yes.
what do you do?
I'm a licensed plumber.
Okay, very cool. You did get a pop balloon. Let's go
Okay.
ahead and go on over there and see what's going on.
Yes.
All right, if we can have your name and age and why you popped your balloon.
Hi, my name is Karma. I'm 24. For me, it just did not work. I didn't feel like I had chemistry or wasn't fully attracted to you. And I feel like that counts if we were going to be going through a dating show, you know?
Yes, the feeling is definitely mutual. So that's okay. Thank you. You did me a favor.
You know, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have a great day.
Thank you, Queen. You too.
Okay, well, let's go ahead. All right, we got to pop over here. If we can have your name and age and why you ended up popping your balloon.
Hi, my name is Jara. I'm 22.
Okay, and why did we end up popping our balloon?
I'm 22.
Okay, and why did we end up popping our balloon?
The comment you made didn't really. I like a more humble person. That's the one that responds so defensive-ish. Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah.
I didn't really necessarily like how
That's
you
fine.
responded.
Hey, I could just,
Yeah.
all I can do is be honest,
I mean,
you know.
yeah, be honest,
I
be your
came
authentic
over here
self.
to-
That's okay.
To find a match
Sure.
that wasn't matching. That's
Sure, I
all,
mean,
Queen.
I 100% understand.
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Sure.
And now is she someone that's your type?
She all right, you know. You're not really my type. I don't mean to be disrespectful,
No
you know,
disrespect.
but if I see you in public, I wouldn't reach out to.
Totally fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. And we did get a pop balloon over here. Your name and age and why you ended up popping your balloon.
I'm Lex, and I'm 23, and I popped my balloon because I feel like you could be a tad bit disrespectful, like how you, like, I don't know, arrogant, a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, just that.
Well, voicing my opinion is not arrogant. You know, she asked me if she would be a good fit for me. If I like what I see, you know, it's contrary to the truth. So
course.
that's all I can do is just state what I see. That's not a good look for me. That's all, Queen. But thank you. You did me a favor as well.
Yeah. Also, what I have to say is, it's not what you say. This is what I mean by what I said. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yes.
You could have rephrased a lot of the things that you have been saying to me as well as the other girls differently. But that
Hey, just because you got hair on your arms, that's okay, though, Queen. You look phenomenal, though.
Thank you.
You know, she ain't fit to my liking. She ain't even fit to my... Hey, excuse me, Queen. I'm talking to this woman right here. Well, I could look anyway. I could look anyway I want to. You know? But yeah, can y'all give her balloon back, though?
she don't want it.
Yeah, do you want your balloon back, Queen? We're not talking to you, sweetheart. You already been... I already let you know. I'm not interested in... You got more hair on your arms than me, baby. But anyways...
Okay, so he's saying get your balloon back, but how do you feeling him?
I'm not going to give my balloon back.
Okay.
All right, no problem. So we do still have 2 balloons.
Yes.
Do we still have 2 balloons? No. Okay, let's go over here.
And, you know, complimenting them, you know? So I didn't find that offensive to me, but when they started what was going on, I'm very, like, I don't want to say I'm argumentative, but I don't want my man to argue back with me because then I feel like it's going to always be a problem. That was the only reason why I popped my balloon, because I was just like, dang. But then with me, you kind of got a little bit catty with me. You a little sassy just a little bit. And since you want to come at everybody over here, I'm going to get at you too. You kind of look like a Ninja Turtle. You're not that cute. You need to relax. You stocky as hell. And I was trying to be respectful, but like you was really coming out like I didn't like it. I'm from the South and I can handle like a lot of criticism and stuff like that, but the way you was coming, you just ain't like you got it all like that. And I guarantee you probably got a roommate at home and it's just not giving anymore.
Yeah. Well, let me say this, Queen. I'm a licensed plumber.
So, and I do real estate and property management.
I live
So what you
downtown.
doing?
I
You
live
have to compare it to
downtown.
me.
I stay by myself, Queen. You know, and you're not even qualified to be even
You
dealing
say
with
everybody
me.
not qualified.
You definitely not. You know, if anything, it was one of these two. I wasn't even looking your way. You
And
ain't
the
in
one
my
that you
type.
wanted popped
If I
up
seen
around.
that's fine.
So what?
That is totally fine.
Okay.
But one thing about me, I could pull 100,000 on the bank. Can you do the same?
Get this
yeah,
man
you
out
can't do
here.
that. You can't do that though, baby. Yeah,
Let's
in a
move
real
on.
way, you
Let's
can't
move
do
on.
that.
First things first, it feels good to have gotten a workout in after a week. All right, I took a week off because my shoulder was kind of hurting a little bit. I had this weird shit going on where it was like, I don't know if I moved my arm a certain kind of way. It's like I felt like a muscle pull in the right side of my pec. That and I went to the Banks concert. I've said that a million times, the Canada thing. I kind of just took a week off from doing my side hustle and just, working out. I just took a week off, but not really a week off, if that makes sense, right? But this balloon popping video, I've been meaning to get around to this for a minute. I was going to take a little bit more time to do it, but fuck it, right? I'm on pre-workout. Why not, right? Why the fuck not? So, and I have a lot that I want to say about this. Now, the first thing I want to say about this whole balloon popping concept, right? It's an entertaining concept, but you got to think about it like this as a guy, right? You are walking into a pre-orchestrated situation where girls are on camera and they're more so influenced to find something negative about you instead of something they like about you. Does that make sense? So understand and watch this from the premise that most girls don't like most men. You know what I mean? So don't think this is like the next bus where a motherfucker walk off a bus and then you just roast them as soon as they step on the concrete. You know what I mean? Watch it from a lens of understanding that, most girls don't like most men in general. So it seems less like a roast instead of more so it's more of a concept of just entertainment. Take it that way. So don't take it too serious. And right off the bat, dude's like, I'm not looking for no woman that's promiscuous. Now, that within itself to me is an issue. Look, man, I understand that niggas like the idea of a non-promiscuous woman, but you gotta understand something. I hate when niggas talk like this, right? Because it's that exact sentiment that tells motherfuckers oh, I don't want a woman that's promiscuous. Cool, I get that. In concept, I get it, right? The problem is I'm stuttering like a motherfucker today. It's in its execution, right? Because most girls like to have sex. And look, you gotta think about it like this, right? If you were a guy and you were able to get access to women the way you wanted to, just on the strength of sex and everything, right? You'd probably go nuts with it too. So I don't look at women funny for being promiscuous in general. You know what I mean? Okay, if something's easy for you, then by all means take advantage of it. Because you gotta think about it like this on the other end, right? Most guys, if they wanted to be in a relationship, they could be. Okay, most girls don't struggle getting sex, they struggle keeping a man for the most part. So, I mean, and a man struggles more so getting sex. So just keep that in mind when you watch stuff like this and a nigga say he don't want nobody promiscuous. So that within itself is a wild concept. You know what I mean? I think that's looking for a girl with no bodies is a really weird way to date, if you ask me personally. Because I don't know if that's his personal belief. I personally think that's some shit that came from the internet. Because before the internet, motherfuckers were promiscuous. You just didn't know they were. Not only that, but most girls are not going to tell you that they're promiscuous. Because of shit like this. Because there's a lot of judgment that comes with being promiscuous. But I mean, that's just my take on that. Somebody might feel differently. You know what I mean? But I think the looking for a girl that's not promiscuous thing is a wild concept. Most girls like to have sex the same way dudes do. You know what I mean? It's just not cool for a girl to have sex the same way a guy does. So a lot of men hold that against women. So, I mean, but just that within itself, I guess. Now, right at the first balloon pop, I mean, if the videos that I uploaded in sync, it should upload in order. But just follow me here, right? The guy, the lady's like, okay, so what are your deal breakers? This dude is you ain't got nothing going for yourself, promiscuous, yada, 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 non-cleanly. Those are not wild standards. Again, I feel iffy about the non-promiscuous one, but whatever, that's most niggas on the internet. You know what I mean? And the first girl that pops the balloon says to this nigga, hey, I don't find no chemistry, I just wasn't attracted to you, yada, yada, yada. Right? Now listen. A girl telling you she's not attracted to you is not something for you to start being a dick about. And this is where the whole concept of the title of the video for me, that I'm uploading to YouTube, I call it The Revenge of the Nerds, right? Because a lot of you niggas date women from the position of wanting payback. Like, look, soon as the girl tells him, hey, I'm not attracted to you, you know, it just didn't work, yada, yada, yada. Look, man, I really don't believe that's a personal reason to go off the cliff the way he did. And I'm not saying like he really like barked on her, but look, he's like, the feeling's definitely mutual. Like, nigga, it's like, okay, why do you have all this energy for a random chick? I guess is what fucks me up, right? Motherfucker tell you they're not attracted to you. I'd have been like, you know, I'm just saying, like, in my head, I'd have been like, all right, cool, you know, no big deal, you know. Not only that, but I don't like to dignify shit with the response. I'm just saying, metaphorically speaking, like, I just don't see the point of having this type of energy for a girl you don't know. Like, a motherfucker tell you that they're not attracted to you. Like, okay, as a guy, you kind of understand that motherfuckers are not attracted to you. Like, I mean, but again, most niggas, what they go through, right? And I think this guy, is that one, he probably didn't look like this when he was younger. Not only that, but he probably wasn't getting women when he was younger, right? And a lot of niggas take that shit personal, right? You know, you're 18, 17, you know, you don't have no type of game, no type of walk around sense or nothing. Girls tend to dish you, treat you like shit when you're younger. I'm serious. Like, that's like a thing. Like, the girl you like when you're like in your 17, 18 or whatever, that girl is attracted to some other dude that's probably older than her and probably has more shit than you, right? To some degree. Or more walk around sense, some more game at that time, right? Y'all gotta understand something. Women, when y'all dish this type of energy to niggas, a lot of them don't let it go, right? So when they get on their feet, they come back at you and they're on some dating. They're dating for blood, if that makes sense. Like, they're dating from the position of wanting revenge. Like, they're trying to get even with you. Like, just women in general in the world. When y'all are treating niggas like this on some old humbug shit, because I know it ain't nothing that motherfuckers are doing to be rude. They're just, you're not attracted to a motherfucker when you're young. Whatever, cool. But this guy and men like him are out for blood when they date you. They're out to get even. Like, there's a reason that Mike Jones song back then, They Didn't Want Me, Now I'm Hot, They All On Me, resonated with so many niggas. Because that's most niggas' existence. Not only that, right? Before we even get too deep into this, most guys, for the most part, right, we keep track of everything. So when a girl dogs you out, like, let's say you're in 9th grade, right? A girl that dogs you out in 9th grade as a guy, you don't forget it. Like, any girl that mistreats you when you're younger as a dude, that shit becomes like a fucking, I'm trying to figure out a way to word it. Like, some girls like to play victim. That becomes a dude's like sob story to some extent. Like, you know, oh, this girl treated me bad in 9th grade, right? And then you continue down this path where girls like, because I mean, look, girls treat men wrong for one reason, for the most part. Like, then you ain't got no type of game and walk around sense. You know what I mean? Women value the shit that they value, and they're hardwired for that way for a reason, right? But a lot of dudes go through this thing where it's like women dog them out when they're younger, treat them wrong when they're younger, because, you know, when you're younger, you know, girls don't care. They're, you know, everybody's a little bit meaner. Everybody's dating from a different perspective when you're younger. Like, the women that treat you that way when you're younger, they're not necessarily thinking about this shit like, oh, 10 years from now, when this nigga get on his feet, he gonna be back for blood. Or they don't think that they're creating a problem for someone else. You know what I mean? Now, after the first girl, right, that popped the balloon, the other girls start popping the balloon because this nigga starts showing his personality. Now, one, I respect the nigga for standing on his shit. Like, nigga, if you're an arrogant asshole, be that arrogant asshole. Like, I'm not saying it's right, but a motherfucker's supposed to love you for who you are. And if who you are is an arrogant dick, then be the arrogant dick. Because here's the thing. I do believe as a man, you don't need to switch up your personality. I think motherfuckers like you more when you stand on your square. It's one of the things that personally I resonate with as a man, right? You know, my dad is my dad, right? But my dad's been my dad all my life. And the one thing I do respect about my dad at this point is that, you know, even in going into his early 60s, he's been the exact same person the entire time. Like, okay, I almost don't want to blame my dad. I want to blame everybody else around him from associating with his ass while he was doing the bullshit. Almost, right? So I don't look at a nigga funny when he say, I'm on some arrogant shit, I'm not gonna switch up for nobody. That is just a man standing on his square. Now, I think he could dial it back a bit, but who am I to tell another nigga how to act? Like, not only that, but a woman that's gonna resonate with his personality is gonna resonate with his personality. But like, you know, the shit that comes across in the video, right, is like, when you start acting like your real self as a guy, like the unfiltered version of you that don't give a fuck what women think, you notice that the women down the line start popping the balloons like a motherfucker. Like, they're like, nope, I'm not fucking with this shit. Because that's a lot for a chick to stand in front of when a dude don't give a damn. Like, now as the video goes on, he starts telling women what he really think, right? And there's nothing wrong with being honest. Now, the thing I've learned about honesty is that there's other elements to honesty besides the honesty. There's honesty with an intent to improve, and then there's honesty from the space of being an asshole, right? And I mean, not the type of, like, okay, trying to figure out a way to word it. There's being an asshole because you need to be an asshole out of necessity. Like, okay, I feel like a woman being a bitch is just a woman being a bitch, you know, to some degree out of necessity. Like, it's like a defense mechanism, a little bit, right? It's the same thing with a guy being an asshole. I wouldn't say it's a defense mechanism, but it's like, I've come to understand, and I resonate with my dad a lot. I talk about him a lot. But, you know, my dad, I've come to understand at this age that my dad is a necessary evil. The problem with that is how your necessary evil comes across. Because there's being honest, and then there's being honest with intent to disrespect. There's being honest with intent to improve upon. For instance, right? A girl asks you, hey, do I look fat in this dress? Do you either A, tell her she look fat as fuck, B, suggest, hey, you know, that outfit may not, you know, hug you in the right places. You know what I mean? Or C, don't say shit. You know what I mean? It's different tiers of honesty and how your honesty lands with the person. Because, I mean, there's honesty that, you know, is helpful to people. Like, I resonate with the honesty that's helpful to people, but I also can be honest in the space of disrespect. And I've been both people before. So I don't like the honesty with intent to, like, it's like the backhand disrespect to it. Because the comments that the girls are making to this guy, right? It's not so much that he's a bad person. He's not a bad person. He's just a jackass that's, you know, cosplaying as a good dude. Now, it gets to a point in the video when the guy says, voicing my opinion is not being arrogant. And look, here's how I feel about this, right? Everything you say should be true, but everything true shouldn't be said. Hey. And I'm telling you this because this is a personal battle I've had to wage with myself, right? I come on this camera every morning and I tell you exactly what I think, right? But I don't always tell you everything that I think. I tell you the things that I think in reference to what's going on, right? There's a difference between being honest and telling motherfuckers your opinion in the space of trying to just help the topic. And then there's a difference between being honest with an opinion and the intent to backhand disrespect people. Like, listen, I get the honesty. I respect the fuck out of it because I'm someone that resonates with hard honesty. Like, you can be blunt with me. Like, I fuck with that because, okay, what the unfiltered honesty does is that, one, it breaks you down a little bit, right? Two, it tells you where your flaws are. And three, it gives you a chance to build upon said honesty. Like, if someone was to tell me, hey, you look a little bit fat on the side, because I mean, when I took the picture with Banks, I looked at my stomach, I was like, damn, I gotta probably do some abs. Like, a picture ain't gonna lie to you. Like, and I don't like the lie. Like, I'm someone, even if you're on some bullshit, right, that I may not necessarily connect with, be that exact person. If I want to like you, or be around you or fuck with you, I want to fuck with you from the space of you being your unfiltered self. I personally resonate with that. The problem with that is everybody doesn't necessarily connect to that. And you have to know who fucks with that and who doesn't. Because the thing about honesty and your message and everything is, you know, the person you're being honest with, right, has to also be in the headspace and ready to receive it. You know what I mean? Like, honesty is one of those things, if you use it correctly, you can build upon it. Like, if used correctly, if used in the right space with the right intent and the person is in the right head, you know what I mean? Because honesty is one of those things. It's almost like a circus act, right? There's so many pieces that have to kind of work in unison for it all to work, right? Someone tells me, hey, Ronell, I don't like your shoes, right? For example, right? I can either, one, feel some type of way about it, two, look at my shoes, you know what I mean? And three, take action based on what you told me, right? Now, a lot of people are going to get offended. And that's the shit I kind of dislike about this video, is that, look, while he is being disrespectful, even in disrespect, you can build upon the honesty. The girl with the hair on her arms, allegedly, right? She probably could have went home and she probably might have went home and cried. She probably could have sat on it for a while and be like, you know what? Maybe my arms are a little bit hairy. But that's just the difference between some men and, men and women for the most part. Men, we tend to take honesty a little bit better because we're not able to duck the accountability. Women, on the other hand, y'all kind of pretend sometimes that the shit don't exist when it does exist. So a nigga telling you got hair on your arms seems backhanded when a nigga really just being real with you. But it's also his delivery at the same time that makes it come across that way. Right? And the thing I've learned about being honest in the space of like a woman, right? You as a guy, and I know I'm on an honesty tangent here, but just follow me for like a second. When you as a guy, you're honest with a woman, right? Even if when you're honest from the space, let's say you're being honest from a space of being helpful. You have to say the honesty, let a motherfucker sit with it. Because any girl you tell it, like, okay, I think what makes it so difficult for a guy to be real with chicks is just that y'all are kind of raised in a princess kind of like fashion, meaning like, especially y'all motherfuckers with good dads or somebody that's like really into social media or, is programmed by society. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all, when y'all are told something that you're not used to hearing or you don't necessarily like to hear, y'all tend to short circuit for a while. You feel some type of way, it bothers you, and then you take that same energy and you dish it back to said man, right? Instead of going home and improving on it and being like, this nigga probably told me some shit to help me. But I will say that a lot of times, a lot of honesty is, a lot of disrespect is like packaged in honesty. So it makes it hard for the honesty to land in the correct way for it to work, for you to build upon it, for you to improve as a person. You know what I mean? But that's just my, spiel on honesty, because I'm telling you, honesty is one of those things I resonate with like a motherfucker. I got a cousin that's a liar, like a habitual. He'll lie to you. Like, okay, if you walk outside blindfolded and you have no prior knowledge of the sky, the nigga will tell you the sky is pink. and he'll really mean it. Like, so I've always been the opposite. I'm someone that really resonates with the honesty like a motherfucker. But I've also learned in my, journey of being honest is that there's different forms of honesty. There's different levels of honesty. And what you got to understand your intent on the honesty and where it needs to land with said person for your honesty to do the exact task that it needs to do with the other person outside of yourself. That's just my take on honesty. Sorry, I meant to segue, but it's just a part of it that I really resonate with. Now, it gets to a point in the video where I think they're down the last two girls, right? The girl in the blue dress and I remember her saying, she was like, I don't like my man to argue with me. Now, this within itself is a very slippery slope, because one, it takes a lot of resilience to not argue with a woman. Like that takes practice, like, to not argue. Like, personally, me, I don't like to argue. Like, I'm all for having a discussion about said topic. I don't like to get angry. Like, okay, it's a certain energy I don't like to have in front of like my girlfriend. Like, I don't like to yell. I don't like to snap off. I've done it before. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I haven't done it. I've done it, right? But I don't like to become unhinged or like, okay, like for instance, like I don't like to get too drunk or I don't like to get too angry because it gets me outside of my character as a man. And one thing I've learned about losing my cool as a dude is that no one actually is like scared of you. Motherfuckers find it funny, but that's just my take on it. That's just the things I've been experiencing throughout my life as far as being angry, right? That's not an energy you want to have in front of a woman or argue back. Like, okay, arguing with a woman to some degree is very feminine, right? The problem with that is that there's only gonna be so many times you can not argue with a motherfucker. Like okay, for an argument to not turn into an argument, right? It takes two people to do that. Like, because here's the thing about being a man, always in front of an argument, like especially over a long period of time. I don't give a fuck how strong you are or how patient you are. Eventually, you will get worn down by that. Like, if a motherfucker always want to pick a fight with you, always got some slick shit to say, always coming out their neck sideways to you, like, it's a difference between a woman that's not trying to argue with you, you know, and an argument gets blown up because you get offended by what she says, and a woman that keeps bringing you confrontational energy and you're trying to avoid it and not turn it into a thing. Like, okay, as a guy, right? Most dudes don't talk to most dudes sideways, right? You know why? Because most men would punch most men in the face. Like, you don't see too many men arguing in public just any kind of way, because the shit gonna get violent. However, you will catch a girl chewing out some dude like he is her son or something, and then expect nothing to come from it. Now, does that say that I make that, you know, does that make it right? No, that doesn't make it right. But what I'm saying is, you can't keep bringing a nigga confrontational ass energy and expecting him not to never say nothing to you, like, always. Like, look, that position of being the leader and not arguing back with the follower, like, that's hard to do. That is very difficult to do on a daily basis, especially when you live with a woman. Like, okay, you gotta think. If you live separate from your girl, or if y'all don't stay in the same space, and, you know, an argument, y'all have disagreements, you're able to go to your corners and cool off. When you live with that motherfucker and that's your life every day, you gotta think. And I don't mean to go on these tangents and shit, but it kind of fits in with the topic of the video, right? One of the Patreon episodes I was listening to, right? One of the guys, it's Locario. I'm a big fan of his work, right? He did a video called "Why Men Always Need to Be in Control of Their Emotions." Now, in, you know, the last 20 minutes of said, not a video, but an audio. Last 20 minutes of the audio, right? The topic of discussion was the guy killed his wife because she would not stop nagging him. And the thing with women is, a lot of times, is y'all don't ever think that y'all getting on a nigga nerves to the point where you might get choked out, right? I don't expect women to necessarily check your energy, but, like, okay, you got, like, the way guys get angry, for the most part, especially a nigga that care about you, it's not generally just one thing that you do that just sets off this chain of events of, like, bombs going off in the house. It's usually some shit, the way it works in a guy's brain, right? Say it's Monday, right? You said some slick shit Monday. He didn't get mad about it. Tuesday rolls around. Tuesday's a good day. You said some slick shit Wednesday, right? Guy don't get mad about it. You do some dumb shit on Thursday that he got to fix. Guy doesn't get mad about it. Friday, you said some shit that came across that rubbed him the wrong way. Guy doesn't get mad about it. You do that same shit again on Saturday, and a nigga chew you the fuck out. Now, what I've recently learned is that as a guy, you have to immediately get that out and say that in that exact moment, right? Because the thing about letting shit build as a dude, because we're trying to not be emotional about it. And I think that's where, you know, we often suffer in silence, where we don't say shit about shit that really sits with us wrong. Because the thing about being a guy and speaking your mind too much, it comes across as complaining, right? But sometimes you need to just get the shit out and say it in the moment, so it doesn't become like, it doesn't compound and become a thing where it blows up in a woman's face all at once. Because the thing women don't realize about it is that every time you do something small and a nigga don't say nothing about it, or, I mean, because I can understand from a woman's position that would be confusing, right? Because a nigga just don't say anything, so you should assume everything's all right. But it's usually a small, very quiet build of a chain of events leading up to a gigantic explosion. So all I'm saying is, you know, when you don't want to participate in an argument, that could be, I don't think you should argue with a woman. However, I do think you need to address the things that bother you, I guess is the better way I could put it. And so I don't think she's wrong about that. Like, you know, because confrontation to a woman looks different than it does to a dude. I'm someone that leans into the conflict if I get mad enough. Like, I'm someone, if I get mad enough, I'll go to jail. If I get drunk enough, I'll go to jail. Like, I'm not someone that runs from the conflict. I run to it. Like, and I almost look forward to it. But knowing that about myself, I have to, address every single little small thing that could potentially lead to a giant blow up. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what leads, again, going off on a tangent, because I didn't think I'd do this much. Like, okay, a lot of this energy that he's showing, if it was to go a little too far, right? Metaphorically speaking, you know what I mean? Like, you see guys shoot up fucking buildings and blow shit up and bomb threats. Like, mass destruction is not a woman thing, right? Those are guys that were not loved when they were younger. Because you gotta think, if a dude got some ass before he went to do some of this shit, he might think twice about it. Like, post-nut clarity is a motherfucker. Like, you getting ready to shoot up, a hospital or something like that. You have sex before it, and you might be like, you know what? Nah. I don't feel like it. So, I mean, in the instance of arguing, that woman is right, though. Because you got to really check a lot of that. Now, it gets to the point in the video where the girl fires back in. And this is what I'm saying about a man being able to take that honesty better, right? He didn't fly off the fucking handle when she told him all that. But him telling them that, it turned into this whole thing. But initially, when you really think about it, he kicked all this off. Like, he could have just not said nothing to none of these motherfuckers, been like, all right, cool, understand. All right, cool, understand. But see, again, most men talk to women from the space of trying to get even. Like, and again, I don't even think, like, okay, for instance, if I get mad at my girlfriend, right, I gotta give a fuck first for that to work. Like, I can't give a fuck about some random in the street. Like, I don't care enough to get that loud with a motherfucker I don't know, or even say all this shit to begin with. Like, look, I watch motherfuckers on the internet, right, a lot of times, right, and the content that comes across my desk a lot of times is, oh, male podcaster humbles 304, and a lot of y'all niggas gravitate to shit like that, because a lot of you niggas resonate with the idea of humbling some chick. Listen, the thing I understand about life, right, and I've been talking way too fucking long, this is pre-workout, but you don't have to try to humble a woman. Like, yeah, men feel like they have to humble women for some reason because whatever. And I can see how that would be confusing on both sides, but because from a woman's perspective, it's like, I'm living my life and these men are trying to stop me, so to speak. So I can see how a woman would see it that way. Again, I'm about duality, so I like to see it from both ends. But a guy wanting a woman to be humbled, I think that's some of the most like, it just, like, why do you give a fuck about some, like, I see that shit on my Facebook timeline all day. Like, niggas is asking women why, and women should be humbled. And man, listen, just because your existence is not her existence don't mean you stop her existence, right? If it's not your girlfriend, you don't really need to tell this motherfucker anything. Let the streets have it. Like, and I'm not saying that, like a motherfucker belongs to the streets, because I hate that cliche. But what I'm saying is this: life will do all the humbling or unhumbling that a motherfucker needs to do. One thing I've learned from my girlfriend, right, is to not dish so much dad advice. Like, I used to really dish advice like a motherfucker, because that's all I was used to doing. The best lessons that motherfuckers learn are the lessons that they learn on their own, right? You can provide, like, okay, for instance, if somebody asks me, I'll tell you. But to go out of my way to tell you, like, to give a fuck to tell you, y'all are big kids, and y'all are big boys and girls, y'all to figure it out, right? And y'all it takes a woman getting to a space in her life where she actually is open to that man advice. It takes a woman getting to that space in her life where she's actually open to that type of advice to even want that help in the first place. Like, the relationship between message and messenger is a strange one, right? And when you understand all the nuances of it, like, okay, I'm one of the kind of people, once I pick up on the fact that you don't give a fuck about what I'm telling you, I stop talking. Like, because I'm not about to make myself angry trying to help you. Like, you're going to do what the fuck you want to do. And I've learned that about most people just in general. Y'all going to do what y'all want to do. And I'm saying men included. My homeboy called me every day on some old, hey, bro, I mean, I met this such and such chick, man. She this, that, and the third. And I've told my homeboy 100 times, bro, stop fucking with these RNs. Like, and he'll still keep doing it. And once I see a certain pattern in you, I take my hands off it. Because you're not about to make me angry, me trying to help you. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's a difference between helping a motherfucker that actually wants to climb up the ladder and trying to help a motherfucker that wants to pull you in. Like, and knowing that difference saves you a lot of time. Now, to wrap all this up, right? Because pre-workout has me talking way longer than I need to, but sometimes I need to have a little bit of extra punch to make my point. 1, he left with the girl at the end of the show. That's 1. 2, this same bullshit he did got him fired. Like, I hate this touchscreen era that when a nigga start being too real about shit, and granted, he was disrespectful, but when a nigga start being too honest, then motherfuckers start affecting your jobs and your livelihood and shit. Like, you know, look, there's times I don't like JB Hunt, but I'm not gonna go in the office and tell these motherfuckers what I really think of this company. Because one thing I've learned about corporate and just motherfuckers that work behind a desk, they don't have it in them to take all that raw, uncut, like, street nigga shit that motherfuckers be on. Like, when you come in the office kicking down doors and everything, and it's like, I'm gonna tell you motherfuckers a thing or two, you're better off keeping it to yourself, nigga. Like, but this video took a lot out of me to do. I gotta stop talking so much. I need to find a hobby. Like, being content is, I mean, it's fun and then it's draining at times. But, you know, man, this was a good concept video to do. This thing was entertaining as a motherfucker. I'm probably gonna watch more with my girlfriend today. But, hey, listen, don't date women from the space of revenge. 1, because women can feel that coming off you. Like, women can feel your vengeance. Like, when you're at the fucking dinner date, women can feel little shit like that. And y'all niggas think y'all finna just get everybody back in blood and chicks are not gonna pick up on it. But, I mean, again, this is just my take. I've said more than enough. I've done more than enough. It is fucking Wednesday, and I hope to God I don't have to work tomorrow. It's 4th of July. Ain't nobody got time. So, you know, when I put this on YouTube, I'm probably going to put like a 1.5-minute clip of it. You know what I mean? When I edit it and everything. Because I'm not uploading all 8 minutes of that fucking video. I just uploaded it up here. You know what I mean? So y'all get the gist of what's going on. You go watch that whole video for your goddamn self. But I'm tired. I'm going to take me a nap. Probably eat some breakfast. You know what I mean? It's Wednesday. Tomorrow's the 4th of July. Hey, man. Y'all have a good day. Fuck.